Hello everyone, Reggie Time here, and I've got a pretty cool hand. Well, I think it's a very cool hand, hopefully coming up in just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to give you the result from the hand from the previous video. If you haven't seen that yet and you want to take a look at it before seeing the result, then just pause the video, go back and find the last video before this. Hopefully they're all stored chronologically, so you shouldn't have too many troubles finding it. And yeah, we'll go ahead now and we'll look at the result of the hand. So we had two jacks, we raised from the button, we got called by somebody who's like a real tight nut peddler type player. Stats are about 20/8, pretty passive generally. So we flop a set, which is cool. We bet, he calls, turns a king, he checks again, we bet, he raises us, and my thoughts at this point were he either has 2 8s or a straight. I think he 3-bets queens and kings pre. So my opinion here, he either has pocket 8s and now he's just raising his set, or he had a straight, he had 10-9 or maybe the ace 10. So against that range, I clearly didn't want to get it in because I think maybe we get it in good against pocket 8s, maybe pocket 8s calls, maybe he has 2 pairs sometimes, but no, we're just way too deep for me to raise here, in my opinion. So I elected to just call and hope the board paired, which it did, which was pretty damn sweet for us, or I felt it was pretty sweet. Then he leads out for pot, and all of a sudden I didn't think it was quite as sweet anymore. Of course, he can still have pocket 8s, maybe plays this way, but I don't think he always just pots it with 2 8s here. I just don't think he does. But again, I'm ruling out queens even more so now because there's exactly one combo, and he probably 3-bets it a lot of the time pre. And pocket kings, he almost certainly 3-bets out pre-flop, so really it's like king, queen, jack, queen, of which again there's almost no combos of. So I think folding was out of the question. So for me it was a matter of, do I raise, can he call with worse, or do I just call? And given that I didn't think he had queens very often or kings very often, I kind of just thought, well, you know what, I think we can sometimes get caught by worse, and I elected to go for the lot. And he did call, and he showed the turned nut straight. I mean, I think his river play is ambitious, to say the least. Who knows what he thinks about me to make this play. He can't know very much about me to think that I'm ever going to be shoving like worse than a straight here, but who knows. Yeah, so that's the result of that hand. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm just going to pause the video and I'll be back in just a moment with today's hand. So here we are with today's hand. This was actually a full ring table. It wasn't full. It looks like it's 15 or 6 max, but it wasn't. It was a full ring table. I didn't know much about the player in question. I did have my HUD running. He was running at the time approximately, let me just think, let me go back and check. He was running 30/13 over a very small sample. So yeah, that's why I don't put stats up, because it's pretty meaningless. He wasn't super loose, he didn't look like he's a regular, but who knows, he might be. But ultimately, I didn't know too much. So anyways, we flop top pair, he checks, we make a very standard c-bet, he just calls, he checks again, we don't exactly bomb the turn, but we make a chunky enough bet. He calls again, and then we revert 2 pairs. He checks for a 3rd time. I go just half pot for value because I'm kind of thinking now I don't want to lose him if he's got like a queen jack, a jack 10, something like that. So we bet on the smaller side, just targeting specifically like his jack X. And he shoves on me. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And you know what, when we get check raised on the river, usually in no limit hold'em, somebody has a very good hand. But when we get check jammed on, it's like, do they have a very good hand? And it's kind of one of those spots where we might have the best hand, which is going to cost us an awful lot of money into what is a relatively small pot. Because this wasn't the biggest pot before we got to the river. When we get to the river, it's only a $14 pot. We've only invested $7 so far. Now we've invested $14, and our friend here is asking us to invest another, $37. So he's asking us to almost triple our investment in the hand. And yeah, we've got 2 pairs. Well, is our hand worth, at this point, calling off with? So that's the question. What would you do on this river? Would you have bet my size? Would you have bet bigger than my size? I'm guessing nobody's checking back. But what do you do facing this raise size here? Do you just say, fuck it, call? You know, we've got one of the best hands we can have in this situation, so I'm calling. Or do you say, you know what, I'm not overly invested in this pot and I don't really want to go for another $37 in what is, you know, what's been a pretty small pot up to now. So there you go, there's your options. Let me know what you think of the hand. Let me know what you think of the first hand if it's the first time you've seen it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll be back soon with another hand. Bye bye for now.